weather, longer days, flowers, and rain. Spring is in the air and it's time to match that energy with these top 12 perfume picks. Hi, my name is Amber Fowler and I talk about all things fragrant and lovely. Today, I've arranged 12 perfumes in alphabetical order by name, and I'll be explaining why I pick these particular scents to wear in the springtime. Let's get into it. First up, I have a celebrity perfume, and this is Ari by Ariana Grande. It's this cute little pink bottle. Well, the bottle's clear, but the juice is pink. There's this cute little puff ball on it. I just love the Released in 2015, this is the first perfume designed by Ariana Grande. It is described as a fruity floral gourmand that opens with raspberry, pear, and grapefruit. It has middle notes of vanilla orchid, rose, and lily of the valley, and base notes of marshmallow, woody notes, and musk. I recently just tried wearing this for the first time and I absolutely loved it. It is a sugary, sweet, fruity fragrance that is youthful and fun. And even though I would describe this as a youthful scent, I do think that it generally would suit people of most ages. Upon looking at some reviews from the Fragrantica website, most people either love it or like it, and it suits mostly as a daytime perfume for the spring and the summer, and I would absolutely agree with that. There's just something so sweet and innocent and alluring about this fragrance that makes it really addicting. Number 2, I have one of my absolute favorite perfumes of all time, and this is Daisy Oh So Fresh by Marc Jacobs. This for me started off as a travel size perfume that I purchased off of FragranceNet, and because I loved it so much, I had to go and buy the biggest bottle that they had of it. This is the 4.2 ounce because I loved it that much. This is hands down one of my absolute favorite fragrances for spring. Daisy Oh So Fresh was released in 2011 and has since had 9 flankers. That's insane. Its floral fruity nature is very refreshing and sophisticated. I love wearing this one to work. It has top notes of green notes, raspberry, pear, and grapefruit, middle notes of violet, lychee, apple blossom, rose, and jasmine, and base notes of musk, plum, and Virginia cedar. Now, there are a lot of reviewers out there that will say that this is not a very long-lasting perfume, but for me, I get about 4 to 8 hours of wear every time I use this. And it especially clings to my hair. This perfume honestly reminds me of Barbie doll hair, if that makes any sense. It's got this like sweet, almost plasticky type of note scent to it that makes me feel nostalgic when I wear it, but also like slightly sophisticated, like professional and clean. It's youthful, feminine, and bright, yet also sophisticated, which makes it perfect for a fresh spring day. Number 3, I have the fragrance Dream of You. This is by Sicure, and this is supposedly a dupe for the Britney Spears fragrance Fantasy in Bloom, which is discontinued. So I ended up getting this bottle from Rainbow Shops, which, by the way, Rainbow Shops sells a whole bunch of little dupes for different popular perfumes, especially celebrity perfumes. So if you're looking for a dupe of a discontinued celebrity perfume, I do recommend going to Rainbow Shops for these little guys because they only cost you about $3 to $4 a piece. So they're pretty cheap. They don't really last very long, but they do give you that taste of the fragrance that you used to love. For me, I've never used Fantasy in Bloom from Britney Spears, but it is nice to have a little something that may or may not smell just like it. I'm assuming that this does. This dupe is an ambery vanilla fragrance that leans heavily into the Japanese cherry blossom scent. There's only one time of year where I will tolerate Japanese cherry blossom, and that is spring. I'll go ahead and post the notes to Fantasy in Bloom by Britney Spears, so you can look at those notes there while I give you the notes for Dream of You from Sicure. You can compare them. The top notes in my bottle here, not what you see here, but the notes in this bottle are top notes of dragon fruit, wild berries, and pineapple. Middle notes are coconut water, vanilla, orchid, and ambrette. And it has base notes of praline, musk, amberwood, and moss. So you can see there's some similarities between Fantasy in Bloom by Britney Spears and its dupe, Dream of You. It's maybe not spot on as a dupe. I wouldn't know. I've never tried Fantasy in Bloom, but this is still a very bright, fruity take on the Japanese cherry blossom scent. Yeah, it just bursts forth. I think that pineapple really kind of punches right out at that first opening there. That is why I love getting dupes from rainbow shops. Like I said before, they are super, super cheap, and it's nice to be able to try a fragrance that I missed out on. And for me, that was back in 2017 when Fantasy in Bloom was released. So I missed out on that, but now I get to enjoy a little piece of it now. While we're on the topic of Britney Spears perfumes, the next one that I have for us today is Britney Spears Fantasy. Yes, this is the OG Fantasy from our youth. It's sweet and pink and perfect for spring. Because it's so youthful, I do prefer to wear this in the springtime. Otherwise, I feel like it just reminds me of being in middle school. Which was around 2005 when this was released. And I'd never actually owned my own bottle of this perfume. I actually had a friend at that time who did though. So she would always smell like this, and I would always smell this when I was at her house. When I think of this floral, gourmand, fruity perfume, I think of being young and fun and flirty. The notes in this are top notes of kiwi, red lychee, and quince. Middle notes of white chocolate, cupcake, orchid, and jasmine, with base notes of musk, orris root, and woody notes. I think what stands out to me the most in this is the lime and the white chocolate. And that's a very strange combination of things, but it's kind of punchy, but also sweet. And that's why I think it gives a little bit more of a flirty vibe than just like a straight sweet girl kind of a vibe. Also love that the bottle is pink with green gems, because the green really does make me think of that lime as well. I think it suits it very nicely. On to number 5, I have Go Fruity by Zara. And if you didn't catch my Zara haul, you can check it out here. You'll see where I hauled this perfume and many others. And in that video, I could not pinpoint for the life of me what this fragrance smelled like, but now I know. This is a spot-on dupe to Burberry Her, which is one of my favorite perfumes. So I was so excited when I figured that out finally. And I love it for the springtime especially. It is voted on Fragrantica to be most popular for spring and summer. But I will say I did try, especially Go Fruity in the summertime last year, and I just felt like it was just a tad too heavy for me then. So that is why I'm sticking with spring, because the weather is a bit cooler, so it's not as heavy, clingy of a fragrance for me during that time. But I will say Burberry Her is quite, got a little price tag on it. So I cannot believe that I have this 3.3 ounce of Go Fruity, this perfect dupe. I think I only spent $11 on it. Can't beat that. Some of the complaints that I was reading about this perfume in particular is that it didn't last very long, but I am here to combat that. I tried this out the other day and it lasted all day. Like, I was smelling it on me all day long, and especially, again, it just clings to my hair sometimes. So I even smelled it the day after just because it was still clung to my hair. So the description for this floral fruity fragrance is fragrance that brings a sparkling femininity through a duo of delicious fruits where peach and apple mingle with a sublime bouquet of rose and iris flower. And I think that's a pretty accurate description. It definitely is bursting with like an appley, peachy kind of a fruit and some flowers, like powdery type of flowers, which I think is the iris in here. I don't smell the rose really hardly at all, which makes me happy because I don't typically go for rose scents. So if that scares you when you hear that description, please don't worry. It really doesn't have a very strong rose scent. This fragrance is one that I can see being a little cloying on some people. Like they may find it cloying if they wear it or if they have too much of it on. And I think that's kind of how I felt with this when I first wore it in the summertime last year. I just felt like it was just a bit much. But like I said, I think the change of season, wearing it in like the cooler but still kind of warm weather suits it very well. So definitely happy to have this for the spring. Number 6, I have the OG Bath and Body Works Japanese Cherry Blossom. If you have ever owned a bottle of Japanese cherry blossom, whether that be the perfume or the body mist, go ahead and put the cherry emoji in the comments. And let's see how many of us had this perfume at one point. I will say that at one point in my life, I was absolutely obsessed with this fragrance. I think the world was, honestly. Felt like everybody and their mom had this fragrance, but we all loved it back then. So I don't know what has changed in the air since then, or maybe because it was so overplayed. This just isn't one of my favorite things now, but I can still appreciate my past love for it. For me, this tends to be a bit more of like a mature, flowery, powdery type of fragrance that's a little bit sweet as well. I can see where this one might also get to be a little cloying to some people. So let's take a look at the notes. This fragrance has top notes of plum, apple, and pear, middle notes of Japanese cherry blossom, Kyoto rose petals, lily, tuberose, and mimosa, and base notes of musk, sandalwood, vanilla, amber, cinnamon, Himalayan cedar, patchouli, and oak moss. And what really stands out the most to me with this fragrance is the apple, the Japanese cherry blossom, the lily, the musk, and the amber, if that helps you at all. Once upon a time, this bottle only cost $30. I think perfumes at Bath & Body Works now are like $50 at minimum, which is insane. But I loved this scent so much that $30, like back in the day, $30 was a lot for a perfume for me. I was in high school, you know. So to spend $30 on a full bottle of perfume meant that I really, really liked it. And you can see I didn't even put that much of a dent into it back then. Kind of wish I had though. Enjoyed it while I liked it. On to number 7, I have a unique fragrance for you today. This comes from Fragrance Revival. And if you don't know about Fragrance Revival, this is a company that supposedly makes dupes of discontinued fragrances. So when I found out about this company, I'm sure you've probably seen them on social media, I got really, really excited because I had this little pink perfume from PacSun called Nollie Pink Live. And I love that scent. Even to this day, I still have my original little bottle and I'll just take it out and smell it because the nostalgia is strong with that one. And I absolutely adore the scent. I think it's flirty and sexy and young and I love it. It's such a great scent. So when I saw that at Fragrance Revival, they had a dupe for that perfume, at least that's what it appeared to be, I went ahead and I sprung for it. And this little baby 3.4 ounces of perfume here cost about $75. So it was a big spend. It was a big splurge for me, but that's because I was really, really hopeful to get 3.4 ounces of Nollie Pink Live. Well, to my dismay, that is not what I received. Unfortunately, this smells nothing like that perfume. PacSun does have a current perfume called Nollie, whose description I think matches what I'm smelling in this bottle more than the little pink bottle that I shared with you before. So I'm wondering if that's maybe where there's a mix up here. I'm not really sure, but I'll just go ahead and read the description off of Nollie from PacSun, and hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of what I've got in this mystery bottle here. This fragrance has sweet fruit scents with floral undertones and hints of pink rose petal and white jasmine. Now that is straight from the PacSun website. I don't know that that is the actual description of what is in this bottle, but to be quite honest, it smells like pink rose petals and white jasmine. Maybe a fruit somewhere in there, but honestly, this is more floral than fruity. I'm not really huge into straight floral scents, but this is sweet and it's floral, and that is pretty much what you're getting with this. In terms of whether or not I think Fragrance Revival is legitimate, let me just share with you my journey with them, and I'll let you make the decision for yourself. Like I said, I was very disappointed. It's not what I thought I was getting. I did reach out to the company and I explained the situation to them. They were super responsive and super nice, and they actually worked with me to try to recreate the scent that I was looking for. They actually sent me 3 different samples of some concoctions that they whipped up based off of the descriptions that I was sending to them. Now, none of the 3 hit the mark like remotely at all to what I was looking for, unfortunately. That could have been just my inability to describe exactly what I was looking for. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but they let me keep the samples for free. And then when I told them that none of the samples were really working out, that I really just would like a refund, they did refund my entire order and they let me keep the bottle as well. So I think for a business to do that really means something to me. I don't think that there was any ill intent when sending me this bottle. I think there's just a misunderstanding or miscommunication or something like that. But in any case, thank you to Fragrance Revival for this perfume. It's not my favorite. I am putting it out for spring because spring is the only time that I really like to wear floral scents. So I will give this a try this season, see if I pick it up and wear it a lot, or if I don't, maybe you'll see this in a future video where I declutter perfumes or something like that. I'm just gonna wait and see, put it out for the spring and just give it a try. On to number 8, I have yet another dupe, and this is Mysterious Rainbow by Mirage. This is a dupe for Britney Spears' Rainbow Fantasy. Yes, another Britney Spears dupe. I also purchased this one from Rainbow Shops, and I will go ahead and link the Rainbow Shops website in my description in case you want to check out their current stock of perfumes. A lot of Britney Spears fragrances are discontinued, so it's nice to be able to get your hands on these dupes. Rainbow Fantasy, ironically, isn't even that old of a fragrance, although maybe it is now. But it was released in 2019, and it is very hard to get your hands on it, especially in the US. It may still be around in like the UK or overseas, but in the US, it's been a tough time to get your hands on the actual original Rainbow Fantasy perfume. In any case, this sweet candy floral scent brings some fun to spring. I'll go ahead and put the notes for Rainbow Fantasy up here for you so you can see those while I read you the description for the bottle that I have here. So the description for the Mirage brand's Mysterious Rainbow perfume is, this oriental floral fragrance blends a sweet floral with base notes of crystal amber and cotton candy. And it's just that simple, but you can see in the notes for Rainbow Fantasy, there is that amber, it's crystal amber even, and then there is that cotton candy. There's some florals in there as well. So I can't say for sure whether this dupe is close to the original or not. I have not personally tried Rainbow Fantasy by Britney Spears, but I am glad to have this little reminiscent piece to give me something that smells hopefully similar to the original. Number 9, I have Princess by Vera Wang. I have always loved this bottle. The fact that it's shaped like a heart and like a heart gem is so cute. Plus the juice is purple, and we all know how I feel about purple. There's also this little crown on it, and like you can take this piece off and it can turn into a ring. Like, how fun is that? I just love Love that. It's very cute. Princess was released in 2006. It was definitely a popular fragrance in my adolescence. Again, I did not actually own a bottle of this myself, but I did have a close friend who did, and she wore it quite often, so the scent is very familiar to me. This amber floral fragrance screams springtime, and it almost gives me tea party vibes. Like, I just picture myself wearing a nice floral dress, sitting out in my garden, enjoying the sunshine and a nice cup of tea. The notes in Princess are water lily, apricot, apple, mandarin orange. It has middle notes of dark chocolate, guava, tiare flower, and tuberose, and base notes of vanilla, amber, and woodsy notes. I think the lily, the tiare flower, the tuberose, and the amber in this are the notes that stand out to me more than anything else, which is why I think of white flowers or like white lace gloves or like tea party, because it's just very like white floral, but it's done so sweetly. The fruits in this kind of help to off-put some of those strong white florals in here as well. The only time that I would want to wear this is in the spring, so that is why I picked it for my spring perfumes video. Number 10, I have another dupe for us, and goodness me, I did not realize how many dupes of perfumes I actually had in my collection. But I'm gonna say this is a good thing. It's always nice to put my money towards these dupes versus buying the original bottles, which can come with pretty heavy price tags. And as you're starting to grow your collection of perfumes, if that's something that you're trying to do, it's something I'm trying to do, it's nice to, you know, drop $10 here or $5 here on a perfume that's going to smell like something that costs $100 or $150, and you can enjoy that fragrance and try it out before you buy the big expensive bottle, so that you're not breaking the bank while you're looking to grow your collection. So I think that's why I have so many dupes, but this one comes from the house of Rive, and this is Queen of Life, and this perfume is a dupe for La Vie Est Belle by Lancôme. So while doing some research on La Vie Est Belle, I came across some mixed reviews. Some people love it and others find it to be too mature. And like I said earlier, I didn't want to just drop $150 on a bottle of something that I just wasn't sure I was going to like. So hence, that is why I spent probably $12 maybe on this. And I originally got this from Fragrance Net. I will go ahead and link Fragrance Net in the description as well. It's where I get a lot of my perfumes, and usually at a decent price as well. I'll go ahead and put a comparison of the two fragrances here. The first one that you see over here is the original La Vie Est Belle, and then the one closest to me is this guy, the dupe from Rive. So you can see that they share pretty much the exact same DNA. The only difference that I see in the notes here is that Queen of Life has almond in its base notes, whereas the original La Vie Est Belle does not have that. When comparing the two, it's a little hard for me because I haven't tried La Vie Est Belle. I haven't like worn La Vie Est Belle myself, but I have smelled it on other people and I know what it smells like. I have a little sample vial and I have smelled it before, but I've not worn it before. I will say that Queen of Life tends to be more of the same fragrance. It is the same fragrance, but it kind of lacks depth, I think. Like, I feel like there's like a more of a creaminess to the original La Vie Est Belle. So this one feels more like the face value version of the original La Vie Est Belle, but in any case, I'm still able to try out the scent and just see if I like it in general. And I will say my verdict on at least this version of it is that it is a little bit mature for me. I don't know that I am in love with this scent. I think the patchouli like really dominates in here. And to me, patchouli just kind of has that like older, aged kind of a vibe to it. And it's not my favorite. But I figured out of all the seasons to wear something like La Vie Est Belle, I figured springtime would be perfect. So just like my fragrance Revival perfume, where it's like, it's not like a love for me, I am going to pull this one out and just keep it out and available and track how many times I'm grabbing for it. And if I don't grab for it a lot, it may be one that you see in a future decluttering video, but we'll see. Gonna give it a fair shot. We are down to our last two fragrances. At number 11, we have the infamous Viva La Juicy by Juicy Couture. This is yet another fragrance from the good old 2000s. This was actually launched in 2008. This one was a must-have back then. I think everyone had this fragrance. But this one stood the test of time. I think it still performs well today. And I think it's like, while it's nostalgic for me because I used to wear it when I was younger, I think it still suits me. I think I can still get away with it. It's a pretty safe blind buy if you're looking to start your collection. It's a very youthful, sweet gourmand fragrance that goes with a lot of people's body chemistry. So this is my actual first bottle that I've ever had of it. You can see I'm not really even used that much. I didn't use it a lot because I loved it so much, and my mindset used to be to cherish what I really liked and not use it. Well, that's out the window. I have too many perfumes to cherish any of them. So I'm gonna cherish them by wearing them. And most of this dent is from recent wear, actually. But also I did take like a 10-year hiatus from wearing perfumes in general. I do still have all my perfumes from back in the day, and they're still good. They're still going. Obviously you see these two both. I had these like 10 or more years ago. Barely used because, like I said, I took like a 10-year hiatus from perfumes, but we're back on. The notes in Viva La Juicy are top notes of wild berries and mandarin orange, middle notes of gardenia, honeysuckle, and jasmine, and it has base notes of caramel, praline, vanilla, amber, and sandalwood. I think I really get the mandarin orange, the jasmine, and the caramel and the amber when I smell this. And sandalwood, I will say that one does stand out too. So it's just a very like flirty, cute little pink fragrance that I think is perfect for the springtime. Last but not least, we are at number 12, and this perfume that I'm about to share with you is actually the newest perfume in my collection out of all of the ones that you saw. This is K. Alley Yum Pistachio Gelato. So I ended up getting this little bottle from Sephora, I think this past winter, because this fragrance released in 2023. Like, it's very, very recent. Over the winter time, Sephora was having a sale on their perfumes, and I thought, what a great way to test out a new perfume I've never tried before. I saw lots of marketing ads like this one, where this bottle is just surrounded by this like pistachio gelato, and it's creamy and green, and it looked really yummy and delicious. And so I really, really want to get my hands on it and really want to try it. I will say that it looks like I've used this a lot. I have not. I've worn this once. My bottle came broken. So you can see there's no like sprayer in there. Yeah, I have no way to like actually spray this from here. So I actually decanted this into a travel size bottle. So that's why it looks like there's half of it's missing. It's in a travel size bottle, so I can actually spray it on myself. And I did get a refund. Thank you, Sephora, for that. But this one, yes, because of these types of marketing campaigns and learning what all notes are in this, which I'm just going to pause because I'm not going to read all of this, but you can see here all the different notes. Just pick out a few that really stand out to me. We've got ice cream, pistachio, peony and peach. We got cotton candy, marshmallow, whipped cream. Oh, those are all the types of scents that I just absolutely love. And I thought I would really, really like. I'm like, wow, this is like a whole cocktail of delicious fragrances. So yeah, so I got it, and I'm gonna say I was a little disappointed. It's not as sweet and yummy and creamy as I thought it was going to be, unfortunately. It's a little sickeningly sweet and powdery, like Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking like maybe during the right weather or season, it'll start to smell like ice cream or something, but I don't know. Like occasionally I'll smell it and I'm like, oh, I kind of get pistachio ice cream. And then other times I smell it, it just smells like this really powdery, mature scent that I don't really love. It's hit or miss. I've only actually worn this once, and pretty much what you smell at the top is what you get throughout the time that you wear this. And I don't think this lasted very long on me, maybe like 4 hours or so. And I didn't hate it. I didn't even find it sickening or cloying or anything like that. It was just kind of there, and kind of glad I got the small bottle because I debated getting a bigger bottle. I'm not saying that I hate it. I just don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and I definitely don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy some of these other fragrances. So again, I'll just put this out, see what I think, see if I grab for it a lot this spring. So now you've seen all 12 spring perfume fragrance picks. Let me know in the comments which of these perfumes you either have or had in your collection and what season you prefer to wear it in. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. That just lets me know that I'm putting out content that you would like to see. And if you're interested in watching more fragrance reviews or learning more about fragrance products, consider hitting that subscribe button because that's what I like to talk about here. I'm going to sprinkle some more videos down here so that you can keep watching, and I'll check you out there. Bye!